Okay guys, so I want to show you how I am transforming this green pot. It actually was all green in the beginning, just a little green cheap pot, plastic pot, into an old world. So the first thing I did that I did do off camera, and then I thought I'll show you how to do it, is I used some exterior house paint, just plain old paint that was left over that I brought all the way from San Diego, and I just dabbed it on with the paintbrush. So as you can see, there's some runs and some drips and whatever, and that's great. That's how we're going to do it. Then I have some baking soda on this plate with this tiny little paintbrush and sponge. Let me get the sponge over here, like an old tattered sponge. And what I'm going to do is I am going to put a little bit of this truffle. It's just a chalk paint. Put a little bit of that. Sorry, some of these are brand new, so maybe I can edit it to take this off because there's no tab. They always make them impossible. There we go, I think. Yes. And that's perfect because I'm just going to put a little bit of the truffle. It's actually pretty thick, which kind of surprises me it's that thick. And I'm going to go ahead and dab that with the sponge so not to waste it. And I'm just going to take that, the sponge is wet, and I'm just going to dab it around. Not in any particular way, just going to dab it. Looks kind of like dirt, right? Just the color of dirt. It's going to look amazing, don't worry yet. Okay, and then I'm going to take a little bit of chocolate brown. Again, you want them all to be matte because we are going for an old world look. And this is also hard to open. Man, I'm sorry guys, I should have had these open before. Well, I'm just gonna take it off and dab a little bit, very little bit of the dark chocolate so you guys can see the different colors. Let me bring that up closer to the camera. So see how they're really different colors. One's truffle and one's dark chocolate. And I was going to put some black, but you know what? I am not going to because I'm not thrilled. I mean, that dark chocolate's definitely dark enough. Then I'm going to use some white, which is also a matte finish. You always want matte, and this is just a white acrylic paint. Can you guys see that? I think I got all these. Oh, great, another brand new one. I think I got all these paints at... Yeah, it comes out fast at Walmart. I think so. The exterior was just left over in my garage when we moved. It was from the outside of our house, and I just took some of it from a big 5-gallon jug and put some in a jar to use for things like this. I've done this before, but each one gets better. So now I'm going to take my damp sponge that has like some different textures on it. And when I dip it in these paints, I'm not going to, actually I think I'll take my little trusty thing and mix them together a little bit in between. But I want it to be variegated, and this is what you don't see online. Now there's just a little paint on there. I don't like to waste anything, so I'm just going to dot it around like this. Maybe brush a little on the top. Maybe put some like horizontal lines, which old world pots do have, with this nice little, very soft brush. Okay, then I'm going to come back with my sponge and I'm just going to dip it in here. And I am not going to worry about what colors. I'm not going to do the white yet, although a little bit gets in because I did mix it. And then I'm just going to dab it all over. So there's a little bit of the dark, a little bit of the light, like nature would do over hundreds of years with a nice pot. I'm starting on a small one just to be able to video it, but I am going to be doing some bigger ones. Do another little dip, maybe a little more dark there. And again, I let it dry literally for a few seconds before I spread it at all. And I usually wear gloves because I don't like washing it out of my rings. But I want to get up on the ridge, maybe a little bit of, and then go back to this first place and just do a little bit of horizontal stripes, not too heavy. I'm actually going for a little lighter one here. You'll see I'm going to be doing some darker pots. And then one thing we know is when pots sit in the yard, you want to, oh man, I wanted to turn on my light. Let me see if this makes a difference. There, now you can see it better, right? Well, I'm learning. We know that if this were just sitting out in the aged sun, and I did it a little heavier right here, it would be darker near the bottom. So now I'm going to tap it more in the darker color and get around the bottom a little bit there. Let it dry a little bit and then just smudge it a little bit. You don't want it to look like brush marks, but a real old pot actually has some variegation like this. And don't worry about those spots that are not quite covered. We are going to take care of that. We want to have some places that aren't completely, but what I'm going to do, I still have a little bit of dark right on the corner there, so I'm going to kind of add that in a little, kind of one area, and blot with the sponge. See how it has a couple little darker areas. Then we don't want this ridge there because that makes it look really not handmade. So I'm going to go in with a little of the mixture and just make sure it gets in that crack. Just going to do half of it right now. Then I'm going to go back with my sponge and just, because we don't want any, you don't want it to look manufactured. You want it to look like old world pot. So then I'm going to turn it, try not to get too much on my hands. I'm going to go back into that middle color, mostly truffle, And I'm going to do the rest of that ridge. And of course you don't mind if there's a little bit of white. And you can always go back and add. The cool thing is there are no tried and true directions. While I'm at it, I'm going to get down here in between. This actually has a built-in saucer. And ideally you would take off the saucer and do the inside and the bottom of both, but I am doing the lazy woman's way. I just want to get it done to look great. These are going to be outdoor pots, which is why I am, that looks pretty good, right? And then get under that ridge. Under that ridge. And you can, if there's some like that. Ah! That's what you don't want to do. You want to get under that ridge again, just so that it doesn't look fake. Looks natural. But then whenever you use a brush, and this is me, I know some people just use brushes. I like it to look really natural. So when I've done an edge like that, then I want to go back in and do some blotting. Now, what do you think? Is that looking pretty old world? I love the color in here, but here where my thumb was, I want a little more, a few browns in there, but I like a little bit of white. I'm kind of liking this. I'm gonna let it dry just the littlest bit. I like that side a lot. Can you guys see that? Light shining on it so you can see. Kind of like it, actually. And then you just kind of turn it, look around. If there's anything you don't like, go back over it. I actually really like it. I'm gonna do the bottom a little bit more and get the edge. I'm not gonna do all the way under, only because I'm gonna be setting it down on this plastic. I'm just using a huge toilet paper plastic that 6 rolls of toilet paper came in, because I was doing it outside and it rains like every 20 minutes here. Not complaining, but oops, there's a little where I missed under the ridge, and it's actually fine to leave that, but I'm going to go ahead and get it anyway. Then what you may see, and this is part of the reason I didn't do the bottom here, I'm going to go inside. So I went inside about an inch, you know, to that first ledge with the outdoor paint. But now, obviously, we want it to look like part of this. So I'm just going to get a little paint that's here left, mix it all together, and just blotch it right inside that ridge with the small paintbrush. It's not quite as important because you're going to have dirt and plant. But I say let's, you know, I like to get that top edge, top lip. And then just right inside, just dab it all around. Can you see what I'm doing there? Just dab it all around. And again, I'll only do, well, I'm doing about 3/4 at once, getting that lip inside there. The reason I like these plants, which are just really cheap at Home Depot or Lowe's, these pots, is because they're actually the shape of real terracotta pots. My family's Italian, you know, my mom has literally thousands of real terracotta pots. Then I'm going to go in there and drag it. Just bounce and drag, bounce and drag. Bounce and drag, bounce and drag. You don't want it to be solid, but You want it to look realistic. How does that look? And then I'm going to go on this side. I'm going to move my thumb. I need to set down my sponge so I try not